Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase and pricing details. Today, we discuss a watch that was launched for the 2022 model year, though the model itself debuted the year prior. This is the Czapek Antarctique Rattrapante Ice Blue. Now, the split-second chronograph came out in 2021. This 99-piece steel limited edition bowed for 2022, and it was the evolution of the Czapek Antarctique sports watch that originally came out in 2020. So by adding a complication with most of the mechanism on the dial side, Czapek, the independent upstart, created a lot of buzz around its expanding sports watch offerings, and there are some major differences between this and the Faubourg de Cracovie chronograph that they launched in 2018. Let's start with fit, because fit comes first. It is 42.5 millimeters in diameter, 15.4 millimeters thick from lug tip to lug tip. It measures 46.3 millimeters. And then if you measure the outer link on each side, the total distance across the wrist is a still reasonable 51.5 millimeters. Now, the watch wears nicely on my wrist, and I'm going to opine that all versions of the Antarctique, whether the original or the chronograph, wear the same or smaller compared to their rated size, which is the opposite of most integrated bracelet sports watches. I can't wear a 41 millimeter Royal Oak chrono, whereas on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, this wears beautifully. And I believe you could even wear this on a 15 centimeter circumference wrist. There's your over the top shot, there's your cuff shot, there's your down the barrel. Fit is excellent and a hallmark of these watches. Now, the watch comes with two bands. One is a bracelet, one is a blue rubber strap that comes with its own deployant clasp. The bracelet, as you can see, is integrated. They're not the first with this type of design, but they've done a great rendition of it as the lugs blend into the taper of the bracelet. And then you have a Czapek Cie repeating as a motif across the intermediate links. Every single link in the bracelet is removable, and you can see that on both sides. So you're going to get a nice secure and proper fit, but if you find yourself in between sizes link-wise, you've got a micro adjustment that is built into each side of the clasp. So you could use one or you could use both depending on how much additional incremental size you require. And remember, there is a quick release system for this bracelet, so you can easily swap it to the strap. See this little dial on the bottom? You turn it and the bracelet pops right off, easy as pie. Screw down crown, we have a 120 meter water resistance, so this is a real sports watch. We'll do a quick lume shot, and as you can see, there is no shortage of luminescence. We'll do the back first, because the back is actually the less important part of the movement. What you can see, though, is that it is large. It's 34 millimeters in diameter, so it nicely fits this case. 49 joules, chronometer style 5-position adjustment, which is deeply impressive on this caliber SX H6, pardon me, I'm sneezing right here, SXH6, and it's their 6th caliber. Automatic winding with a 60-hour power reserve. You can see it has a 4 hertz beat rate and a free-sprung balance with a full balance bridge. Those two features make it very shock tolerant, but the free-sprung balance also makes it very easy to adjust precisely in those 5 tested positions. 49 joules, you can see it's got a 100% recycled rose gold rotor mass, and while I'm not sure that discarded gold is a problem littering the beaches of Bali these days alongside plastic, I guess every little bit of recycling helps. So automatic winding with a 60-hour reserve, and then on the dial side, all the chronograph mechanism is where you would like to see it. That is where you can see it without removing the watch from your wrist. Now, this is the ice blue model of the Antarctique Rattrapante because it features ice blue tinted sapphire scales. And although only the time is luminescent, you can see that once more, it does add a little bit of subtle color to the dial, which I deeply appreciate. Now, it's a lateral clutch, which is different from the Faubourg de Cracovie, which used a Vaucher vertical clutch chronograph base. There are 2 column wheels. There's the one at the bottom, which is used for the split second hand, and then there's the master, which is up at the top. And this is what's called a mono-pusher split-second chronograph, although it has 2 chronograph pushers. Once you have stopped the primary, this is the master column wheel up at the top, you must reset before you restart. So you can split the seconds as many times as you like, as long as the mechanism keeps running. But the second you stop the master, you have to reset it. That's why it is called a mono pusher split second, even though there are quite clearly 2 buttons here. Now, the dial side includes a lot of black polished elements, including the screws, the caps of the column wheels, the crenellated towers, the column wheels. Very attractive. All the steel parts of the chronograph are satinated across their top and then beveled on their edges. This is a chronograph that includes, we'll unscrew the crown here, we have a stop seconds function, so you can bring everything to a halt if you wish to do so. The watch does feature a semi-instantaneous jumping minute display, which I deeply appreciate, and the execution of the finishing, it's on the same level as the Louis Moinet Memoris, which also includes a dial-side chronograph mechanism. With the twin column wheels and the lateral clutch, Czapek played for aesthetics here rather than going with a vertical clutch, and I embrace that decision. The aesthetic, the look, the impact paid off. If you love this watch, reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.